Greetings. Today I would like to show you how I made this do-it-yourself slider out of a simple cabinet slider and how I motorize it. So as you can see, this slider consists of a single cabinet slider like that. Usually they come in pairs, and I am using one here assembled on the tripod, whereas I actually made two which can be with blocks, and they can be assembled separately on two light stands also. Here now it is assembled on a tripod. So let me go through the construction of this slider. There are so many videos on YouTube with this type of device and how they have made it into do-it-yourself sliders. So mine is almost the same, but with some different elements to suit the requirements. So you see, this slider consists of three layers. There is a bottom layer on which a middle layer slides with the help of ball bearings, and on top of that there is a third layer. So I have connected the camera to the top layer, and the bottom layer I have connected it with a quick release plate over here mounted to the tripod. You can see the quick release plate here. It is actually in place. Right. So the first requirement is, if you want to mount the slider on a tripod, you want a quick release plate. Then I have attached the camera to the slider with a 1/4 inch screw, 1/4 inch, mind you, it's not 6 millimeter, 1/4 inch bolt threaded through the small wooden block. And on top, the 1/4 inch screw is about 1 inch in length. It passes through the top layer of the slider. It goes through this wooden block, and on top of it, it is held in place and tightened by a nut of 1/4 inch diameter, and into the remnant 5 threads I have threaded in the phone holder. At both the ends, I have attached wooden blocks slightly wider than the width of the slider, and the position of attachment is at the ends of the slider. These wooden blocks have been screwed on to the slider with wood screws about half an inch long, very tiny, and it won't obstruct the free gliding of the slider plates. Wooden block has been screwed on to this slider, and at the bottom of these wooden blocks, you can see here, I have threaded in wood nuts or wood insert screws. They have two threads, one on the outside and one on the inside. The outer thread threads into the wooden substance here and gets a purchase, and the inner thread, it is of 1/4 inch diameter, and that can be threaded onto two light stands. Similarly, at both the ends there are two wooden nuts which can be threaded onto two light stands. The ideal positioning of the slider for the full length videography would be on light stands, but as a compromise, you can put it on a tripod itself, and be careful, and especially while you are recording talking head videos like this. So that's the construction of the slider. The camera is attached not at the center, but it is attached at the extreme. So the distance of travel of the camera from this end to this end is about 22 inches. I have measured it today. So you will get 22 inches of unilateral movement. Either you can get it mechanically like that. If I am filming objects distant from me, that is, if I am shooting outdoor footage, I can pull it like that. It has got a smooth glide. So this I can pull, and this is the length it will travel. This is about 22 to 24 inches. Actually, this slider, the measurements of this slider are, it can travel 24 inches. I have added a motorized component to this slider, and that motorized component I would like to share with you. It's very interesting. So the essential motor of this slider is this microwave motor here. It revolves at 4 revolutions per minute. It has got a wire, and I have attached a plug to it, and if I connect it to the switch over here, it actually turns. I don't know if you can see it from this distance. This wire is too short. This is a spare motor which I have lying around, but if you can see the hole, it is turning. So this is the motorized element. Since the radius of this shaft is only 6 millimeter, it has to be amplified or magnified, and that is where the next element of the motor comes in, is just a vent. This vent I got it today from the kitchen chimney. It's just fresh off a kitchen show from a showroom which showcases kitchen chimneys. The previous version which I have shown in an earlier video is a similar one. It's a vent, but it belongs to a roof to a AC in the roof. And this one, the current one, is of a smaller diameter. The reason is that this one was turning very fast and the camera was traversing this distance of 22 inches in a very short span of time. So I wanted this to travel at a much slower pace, and I have bought this this is actually called a blower. It's called a vent blower in India. You can Google it, you'll find several images. They come for various AC air conditioning equipment. Like kitchen vent, bathroom vent, air condition. Even in the car you will have this kind of equipment. So how have I attached the motor to this blower? There is the third component which I got it made. It is actually attached here to the motor which is on top, and this is the plate here. This is stainless steel plate measuring about 3 inches or 2.5 inches, and then there is a tube or cylinder here which is welded on to this plate. The inner diameter of this stainless steel tube is it matches that of a light stand, and it is fixed onto the light stand with this nut over here. So this in photographic terms is called as a pigeon plate or a baby plate. It is not available anywhere in India. I tried to order it online, but it was too expensive, so I got it made by my surgical instrument manufacturer. I asked him to make one more and will be coming soon for this slider. So that is how it works. The rotor is assembled on top of the motor and fixed by 2 screws, and as the rotor revolves, its revolution is magnified from a smaller diameter, smaller circumference to a larger circumference, and the camera is pulled by a thread. I've shown you the pulling of the camera by a thread. So thread, here again the placement of the camera on this motor is also very crucial. This point is not elaborated anywhere. You will see sliders of non-mechanical type, and there is no hassle with those sliders because there is no thread element in that. They have got simply non-mechanical, you can just pull it. But here you have to attach a thread to the camera and from here to the motor. So if you attach it to the slider, what happens when the slider slides out, the rotor is fixed and the thread will sag, and then the motor will not be functional anymore. But if you connect the thread, as I've shown in the video here, to this part it is always taut. The slider part is not taut, but this one is always taut. This length is always maintained between this and the motor. So the length is always fixed and it will not sag. And I've shown you yesterday in the previous video as to how it rotates. So this is a very easy, elegant, inexpensive slider, do-it-yourself motorized slider. This kind of slider you can find so many videos on YouTube, but the motorization, I have seen only one video of that nature where they have used a vent to motorize the slider. It's very excellent, but that motorized slider was the same kind of a motor, but it was kind of a slider with rails and all that. I'm certain that this is the first combination of cabinet slider with a motor of this nature. So thanks for watching. If you did like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Madras Joint Replacement Center, MJRC. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.